There was a time in my career when every single time my manager would dump more work on me, I wanted to say no to her. But I couldn't. I couldn't because I was naive and I didn't know how to do that. I was afraid that if I'll say no, she will count that on my upcoming performance appraisal. Now, when I think back on those days, it really gives me a good laugh. But today, after so much of experience, I have some proven techniques that I use over and over time, and they work every single time where I literally say no. These techniques really help me to say no to my manager, to my senior. Some techniques are applicable to your colleagues, peers, and you can also use them with your friends if you find them applicable. So if you are in a similar situation where you do not know how to say no, then stay tuned to learn some proven techniques.
This video is powered by Keka.
To begin with, my personal favorite, and this you can use with your manager and anybody senior. And the technique is to ask what to reprioritize from the list that you already have on your plate. For example, if my manager walked up to me and said, "Hey Varsha, I need a payroll report of last 8 months with on-call allowance of every single employee, and if there was any random payment transaction done during those 8 months, include that as well." Now that's a lot of work. But instead of saying direct no here, I will say that for sure I can do that, but it's just that I have these 4-5 tasks on my list. Then I name the task. For example, I have a vendor meeting, then post that I have to fill in the performance appraisal, then I have some 30, 60, 90 days connect with employees, and then I'll ask the manager. So I have all these tasks on my list. So please let me know what can I reprioritize from this list so that I can deliver the report. For me, most of the time, whenever I use this technique, the response of my manager was like, after a pause, the response was like, "Oh, I didn't know you have so much to do today. So you carry on. I'll figure out the way out to my report." And the manager then walked up to somebody else or, found some other help to do his or her report. But I did not do that report. So you see, that's how it works. And I never said no. In this scenario, I never said no. It's just that I rephrased my sentence, and indirectly and very politely, I told my manager, "Hey, look, I already have enough on my plate. And if you want me to do this work now, then please let me know which of the existing work I can drop or do the next day, or basically to move the deadline so that I have the bandwidth to squeeze in the task the manager is giving to me." So that's the technique, and it's a wonderful technique to use with your manager, with your seniors, because it's highly professional and it doesn't come across as if you're trying to deny the work or you are trying to avoid the work. No, you will get the bandwidth to do the work, because then your manager would ask to drop any of the other activities that you have to do during the day. And you must practice it if your days are full, you have a lot of work to do, because there's no point in taking more work when you already have a lot of work, because that will impact your performance. You'll not be able to deliver on time, and then you will be called a poor performer, because nobody knows how much you already have on your plate. Your manager actively will not know that how many tasks you have on your to-do list and how much time it will take to finish them. Consciously, they do not remember all of that on day-to-day basis. So it's your responsibility to let them know that my plate is already full, so please excuse me. Now moving on to second technique, which is redirecting the person to somebody else. Now this technique will only work when the other person is available to help and is capable of doing that work for which you are redirecting. For example, if somebody walked up to you and asked you to help in a PPT presentation and you're really occupied, so you cannot take that work, plus you do not want to say a direct no, which might sound rude to the person, then how can you respond? You can say, "Look, I really want to help, but I have so much on my plate already, and I'm afraid that I might not be able to finish the task by the time you need it. So I suggest that you take help of that XYZ person, because that person is a champ in PowerPoint and already have done similar tasks in past. So it will be really good for your timeline as well, plus the quality of your presentation as well, if you take help from that person." But again, as I said, this will work only when you know that other person is kind of capable of doing the task and is available to do the task. Now, the next technique on the list can be called as teachable moments. Now, this particular technique is helpful for colleagues who bug you every single time when they have to do a certain activity. No matter how many times you have told them before, but whenever they get a similar assignment again, they walk up to you for help, or they'll call you on their desk to help them. So in these scenarios, do not provide ready-made solution to anyone. What you have to do is walk up to their desk and let them do the activity. You dictate You do not do that activity. You dictate, and once they are done, congratulate them and tell them that, see, you did it yourself. I knew you can always do it. You always underestimate yourself. So from next time, you can do it all by yourself. So this will give them a subtle message that you are done with their repetitive ask, you are done with the continuous bugging, and you are not going to give any ready-made solution from the next time. So they'll stop bugging you, they'll stop asking you the same question again and again. If someone is repeatedly asking you some piece of information or several pieces of information which are already written somewhere in any document, say for example any policy, any manual, any document which is related to the project, then what you have to do not give them again the ready-made solution. No, please do not do that. Send them the whole document, the manual, the policy, the PDF, send that, and just let them know that you have provided the solution or whatever they were looking for, you have sent that. That will also give a subtle message that you are not fool who will provide them with ready-made solution. You'll snip 2-3 lines from a document of 600 pages and serve it to them. Do not entertain such requests, because once in a while it's fine when somebody is really stuck in some kind of emergency and want the data like in that very moment. It's understandable. Most of the time people ask these kind of information out of pure laziness, so do not entertain it, because it's a waste of time for you. You'll not be able to finish your own task if you keep entertaining such requests. Now my next technique is suggest or offer enhancements rather than working from scratch on anything. Now this particular technique is very powerful, but you should use your own judgments where to use it, because it will not be applicable in all the scenarios. I'll give you one example so that you understand what is meant by offering or suggesting enhancements rather than doing the work from scratch. Say for example, my manager walks up to me and she goes like, hey Varsha, you have great writing skills. Why don't you write a speech for me for the upcoming event where I have to take an award? Now in this scenario, can I say a direct no? Even if I want to, even if I'm dying inside to say no, I do not want to, can I say no? No, I cannot say. So what will my response will be? My response will be, thank you so much for your compliment. Yeah, recently I worked hard on my writing skills and I really upscaled. A lot of people keep mentioning about it. So thank you so much for the compliment. And for the speech part, I really think it will be great if you can put it in your own words, because you know the industry so well, you have so much of experience. If you put it in your own language and word, that will sound more authentic. And once you are done putting all the sentences and experiences that you want to mention in your words, I will review the speech and I will enhance it and glamorize it with my writing skills. What say? Now the chances are the manager will either give you a draft where he or she have mentioned all the experiences, and then you have to just review and see if there are any things that you can improvise on, or your manager will call you and you two will sit together to write that script. But you have saved yourself from completely writing it from scratch and wondering what should I write, what if it goes wrong, this or that, and wasting so much of your time and energy on it. Now moving on to my last tip for today's video. It's not in technique as such, but I do want to mention it because I've seen some scenarios happening like this. It especially happens with recent graduates who are very junior, who recently started and are fresh out of college in their first job. Now what happens is sometimes you encounter people, seniors, especially senior employees, who take advantage of the power they hold at their position. They try to belittle these juniors by giving them some work which they are not supposed to do. For example, asking them to get water for them, asking them to get their coffee or something of that sort. There are services available in the company where you can help yourself, or you can ask helping staff if you are really busy, but mostly you are supposed to get it yourself. Now if this thing happens with you, and for example, the senior asks you to get his coffee, then what you have to do, very assertively with a polite smile on your face, just say, oh, that's easy, and then pick up the landline phone, which is usually there in everybody's cabin, office, especially senior's office, and dial the extension of helping staff and ask them to get a coffee for this senior. And then you hang up the phone and then you say thank you and leave from there. Now what this will do, they are also aware that they can dial the extension and call for the coffee or whatever help they need, but they ask you. Now most people, most juniors in such cases, they will run and try to grab the coffee, and sometimes the coffee place is really far from the desk, so it's sheer wastage of time and it's not a display of smartness. But when you use my technique, which I told you right now, then you help yourself and you display the behavior of smartness. Now next time that person will be very careful on how he or she behaves with you, because they know you are not some regular person. you are smart enough and you know what your rights are and what you're supposed to do in the company and what you're not supposed to do. So guys, that was it. Let's quickly take a look at the summary of this video. These are some incredible techniques that you can use in a variety of situations, and hopefully you find them useful and you use them. And if you do and it works successfully, do leave a comment and how it helped you so that other people can use them more confidently. So with that, we came to the end of this video, and you keep on watching more content on the Corporate Diaries to be corporate ready. And I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.